Listen, I don't know why that just hit me. While we sit here. And the power and the glory for ever. Amen. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory for ever. Amen. Yes. Like, I'm a church boy. Sorry. That song just hit me right when I went live. For thine is the kingdom. Grand Rising, everybody. And the power and the glory forever and ever and ever. Man. Come on, everybody. Come on in the room. Welcome to our space where we're going to be reading the 4 agreements. We're working to wrap this book up. I'm going to try today. I don't know. But the conversation has been so good. But before we get into that, I want to just set a moment for us to breathe, for us to lock in, for us to be with spirit, presence, God, however you define that energy, that frequency that you know you feel when you go into prayer, when you go into meditation. And I just want to invite that energy in the room through breath and prayer. So let's just take a moment to breathe in through our nose and out our mouth. Breathe in through our nose and out our mouth. And just be here now in this space with nothing to say or do. Just come into the room and just focus your attention on your breath. In our nose and out our mouth. Breathe in through your nose and out our mouth. Holy Spirit, Mother, God, Creator, Source, Divine Intelligence, all the many names you're known and called, we greet you this morning. And we say thank you. Thank you for this morning rising, for the sun, for the snow in certain parts of the world. God, for the activity of our limbs, for the food and the resources that we have, for the shelter that we have. Thank you. Thank you for this community. Thank you for my strength, my ability to be in this space to show up. Thank you for the collective consciousness that's asking for wisdom, that's asking for guidance, that's asking for direction and clarity. I thank you that we already have it as we sit and be with ourselves, as we sit in prayer and meditation, as we sit in the quiet. God, thank you. Thank you for this amazing time, collective space together, for those that are coming in and out of the room. God, we thank you wherever they are. I speak healing, I speak blessings, I speak joy, I speak abundance, wherever they are. I speak to any conflicts in their mind, and I ask and I declare now that it be dissolved. By way of spirit, I ask that any thoughts of self-harm or self-inflicted nonsense, will be removed. It is removed now. We declare and we let it be so by the power of our tongue. And we just thank you for all that you are doing even now. To every person that's feeling afflicted in their body, thank you for healing even now. Thank you for healing even now. And we let it be so, and so it is. Ashe and amen. So thank you. Thank you for being in this space as we are reading the Four Agreements. And if you don't know, we've been reading these Four Agreements for like almost like the last month or so. What's up, Jeffrey? Last month or so, we've been getting into our books. We touched the Four Agreements, but now we are wrapping up this book. And if you haven't read this book, it's a great read for those that are on the spiritual journey. Where I got these from Fytoo, Fytoo. So if you're on your spiritual journey, you're having questions about your faith, this is a good starter book to really just begin to look at the world through a different lens. So we went through the Four Agreements. No, not Cat in the Hat. It's the Four Agreements. The Four Agreements. And it's really an edible book. I mean, it's like, this is my second time reading it. And so we are getting into the 6th chapter. And I'm going to start, we'll just start on page 112. If you happen to go get the book, or you have it, you can, read along. So 112 in the middle of the other page. So here we go. Yeah, with us, you mean do a reading stream, like read the book? We're finna read it right now. Page 112. Imagine that the human mind is the same as your skin. You can touch healthy skin and it feels wonderful. Your skin is made for perception and the sensation of touch is wonderful. Now imagine you have an injury and the skin gets cut and infected. If you touch the infected skin, it is going to hurt. So you try to cover and protect the skin. You will not enjoy being touched because it hurts. Now imagine that all humans have this skin disease. Nobody can touch each other because it is going to hurt. Everyone has wounds on their skin, so the infection is seen as normal. The pain is also considered normal. We believe we are supposed to be that way. And when we was talking about last week, when you really look at the state of the world and the condition of the world, there's a lot of people that are hurting and they think it's normal. They think it's normal to overwork. Like, this is just what you do. You get a job and you work 100 years of your life, only with 10 years to really enjoy it. Can you imagine how we would behave with each other? Can you imagine how we would behave with each other if all the humans in the world had this skin disease? Of course, we would hardly ever hug each other because it would be too painful. So we would need to create a lot of distance between us. Now, this is really interesting for me because I feel like a lot of people want touch, they want intimacy, but how often do we really get a hug from somebody? Like, you go to work and we just say good morning, but we don't greet each other with a hug. And even family members, like, even when I go to my grandmother's house, I say hi, but I think I still find it awkward to hug. And I feel like, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I grew up in a household where we didn't hug. Like, I think we said, I don't really recall my mother saying I love you until I became older. But growing up in a household, I didn't really see a lot of affection. And I believe that I'm not the only one, but I'm speaking from my experience, when I'm looking at this book, how so many people are living in a world without affection, but that's actually what they want. You don't hug people because they're so musty. Hilarious. And I mean, not everybody is musty. Hopefully, if everybody's musty, you may want to check your nostrils. Make sure there's no what they say. I used to have them. Um, um, what is, I can't think of the word, but it's basically like lumps in your nose to where you can't really smell, so it starts to stink in there. But just observation. Anywho, of course we will of course we would hardly ever hug each other because it would be too painful. So we would need to create a lot of distance between us. The human mind is exactly like this description of infected skin. Every human has an emotional body completely covered with infected wounds. Each wound is infected with emotional poison, the poison of all the emotions that make us suffer, such as hate, anger, envy, and sadness. An action of injustice opens a wound in the mind, and we react with emotional poison because of the concepts and beliefs we have about injustice and what is fair. The mind is so wounded and full of poison by the process of domestication that everyone describes the wounded mind as normal. Can you really sit in that? That the way we have treated people by what we describe as who gets to play in the game and who don't gets to play in the game. And I think we're really now getting to see with the things that the leaders in this world are doing, like who gets a pass and who doesn't get a pass. And we're really getting to a position to where eyes are being open to where we're seeing the injustices that have really been in this world, but on because it wasn't being done to quote unquote your skin color, then you couldn't see it. But now people are starting to realize that, whoa, this is possible for humanity. So the mind is so wounded and full of poison by the process of domestication that everyone describes the wounded mind as normal. This is considered normal, but I can tell you it is not normal. It is not normal. We have a dysfunctional dream of the planet. We have a dysfunctional dream of the planet. And humans are mentally sick with a disease called fear. And I think we're talking about it now. We can see it now because when we talk about the snowstorm coming through, and people like, okay, is it really as bad? And people are seeing that it's possible that people in play could be creating this panic, or even if it's not happening leadership wise, the fact that we've had a storm and it's only supposed to last 2 days, and you go into the store and like all the food is gone. So it's playing off of, it's giving people's fear is overtaking them to the point that they go in and they overspend or overconsume so that they can feel protected. We have a dysfunctional dream of the planet, and humans are mentally sick with a disease called fear. The symptoms of the disease are all the emotions that make humans suffer: anger, hate, sadness, envy, and betrayal. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind begins to fail. Let's say that again. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind begins to fail. And we call this mental illness. Psychotic behavior cures when the mind is so frightened and the wounds so painful that it seems better to break contact with the outside world. Let's run that back. Psychotic behavior cures when the mind is so frightened and the wound so painful that it seems better to break contact with the outside world. If we can see our state of mind as a disease, we find there is a cure. If we can see our state of mind as a disease, we find that there is a cure. We don't have to suffer any longer. First, we need the truth to open the emotional wounds, take the poison out, and heal the wounds completely. How do we do this? We must forgive those we feel have wronged us, not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because we love ourselves so much we don't want to keep paying for the injustice. Let's say this again. How do we do this? How do we forgive? Or why do we forgive? We must forgive those we feel have wronged us, not because they deserve to be forgiven, but because we love ourselves so much we don't want to keep paying for the injustice. Forgiveness is the only way to heal. Man, can we say it again? I'm going to say it for myself. Forgiveness is the only way to heal. We can choose to forgive because we feel compassion for ourselves. I want to stop right there because I think I heard something real quick. It's like the idea of forgiveness is freeing you. How is it freeing you? It's freeing you because now you get to disassociate what happened to you and stop playing that story over and over again. This doesn't mean you don't have boundaries, but what this does do is that you stop letting the story that was created from that experience drive how you move or affect your mood in a negative way where you're triggered, you are shameful, you are hurt, you are bothered anytime you think about that person or the event. The idea of forgiveness is releasing those emotional attachments, those things that is in your body that's causing you from progressing and moving forward. So forgiveness is the only way to heal. We can choose to forgive because we feel compassion for ourselves. We can let go of the resentment and declare, that's enough. I will no longer be the big judge that goes against myself, and I will no longer beat myself up and abuse myself. I will no longer be the victim. First, we need to forgive our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and God. Now I'm gonna say it again, and maybe I need to hear it just as much as somebody else might need to hear it. First, we need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and God. Once you forgive God, you can finally forgive yourself. I'm going to say it one more time, okay, just to clear it up, because I feel like I messed over some words. First, we need to forgive our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and God. Once you forgive God, you can finally forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, the self-rejection in your mind is over. I think this is huge for me because I was mad at God 2025 and we still recovering. I don't know if you've ever been there where you've been mad at God. Like, what the is going on? Like, I trusted this move. I trusted this step. I thought I heard you. And the results that I was looking for, I did not get those results. So I don't know if I can trust what you're telling me to do. And in that, those that have, let me just say that in that, when you don't trust God, is really low key. I don't trust myself. Because if God is living in me and I'm saying God is speaking to me, then how can, when you go through experience and it don't turn out like you think, it puts you in a place of how can I really trust God or myself? Once you forgive God, you can finally forgive yourself. Once you forgive yourself, the self-rejection in your mind is over. Self-acceptance begins and the self-love will grow so strong that you will finally accept yourself just the way you are. That's the beginning of the free human. Forgiveness is key. You will know you have forgiven someone when you see them and you no longer have an emotional reaction. Woo! You will know you have forgiven someone when you see them and you no longer have an emotional reaction. Let's say that one more time. You will know you have forgiven someone when you see them and you no longer have an emotional reaction. You will hear the name of the person and you will have no emotional reaction. When someone can touch what used to be a wound and it no longer hurts you, then you know you have truly forgiven. The truth is like a scalpel. The truth is painful because it opens all the wounds which are covered by lies so that we can be healed. Let's say that again. The truth is like a scalpel. The truth is painful because it opens all the wounds which are covered by lies so that we can be healed. These lies, what we call the denial system, these lies are what we call the denial system. It's a good thing we have the denial system because it allows us to cover our wounds and still function. Ooh. And I have lived in denial because I didn't want to see what I was being shown. And I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. Man, it's a good thing we have the denial system because it allows us to cover our wounds and still function. But once we no longer have any wounds or any poison, we don't need to lie anymore. We don't need the denial system because a healthy mind, like healthy skin, can be touched without hurting. It's pleasurable for the mind to be touched when it is clean. The problem with most people is that they lose control of their emotions. It is the emotions that control the behavior of the human, not the human who controls the emotions. Let's say that again. It is the emotions that control the behavior of the human, not the human who controls the emotions. When we lose control, we say things that we don't want to say and do things we don't want to do. That is why it is so important to be impeccable with our word and to become a spiritual warrior. We must learn to control the emotions so we can have enough personal power to change our fear-based agreements, escape from hell, and create our own personal heaven. How are we to become a warrior? There are certain characteristics of the warrior that are nearly the same around the world. The warrior has awareness. That's very important. We are aware that we are at war, and the war in our minds requires discipline. Let's say that again. We are aware that we are at war, and the war in our minds requires discipline. Not the discipline of a soldier, but the discipline of a warrior. Not the discipline from outside to tell us what to do and what not to do, but the discipline to be ourselves no matter what. Man, the warrior has control. Not control over another human, but control over one's own emotions, control over one's own self. It is when we lose control that we repress the emotions, not when we are in control. The big difference between a warrior and a victim is that the victim represses and the warrior refrains. The difference between a warrior and a victim is that the victim represses and a victim represses and the warrior refrains. Victims repress because they are afraid to show the emotions, afraid to say what they want to say. To refrain is not the same thing as repression. To refrain is to hold the emotions and to express them in the right moment, not before, not later. That is why warriors are impeccable. They have to complete control over their own emotions and therefore over their own behavior. So let's get into it. Page 118, the initiation of the dead, embracing the angel of death. The final way to obtain personal freedom is to prepare ourselves for the initiation of the dead, to take death itself as our teacher. What the angel of death can teach us is how to be truly alive. We become aware that we can die at any moment. We have just the present. We have just the present to be alive. The truth is that we don't know if we're going to die tomorrow. Who knows? We have the idea that we have many years in the future, but do we? If we go to the hospital and the doctor tells us that we have 1 week to live, what are we going to do? As we have said before, we have 2 choices. One is to suffer because we're going to die and to tell everyone, poor me, I'm going to die, and really create a huge drama. The other choice is to use every moment to be happy, to do what we really enjoy doing. If we only have 1 week to live, let's enjoy life. Let's be alive. We can say, I'm going to be myself. No longer am I going to run my life trying to please other people. No longer am I going to be afraid of what they think about me. What do I care what others think if I am going to die in 1 week? I'm going to be myself. And that's the talk. What are you willing to do things by yourself? Are you willing to make a decision in order for you to get the life that you want? Are you willing to make the decision so you can move and become the person that you want to be? The angel of death can teach us to live every day as if it is the last day of our lives, as if there may be no tomorrow. We can begin each day by saying, I am awake, I see the sun, I'm going to give my gratitude to the sun and to everything and everyone because I am still alive. 1 more day to be myself. Come on, one of my church kid just rose up. Just another day that the Lord, I don't know how that came up, has kept me. Just another day that the Lord has kept me. He has kept me from evil forever. He's kept my mind stayed on thee. Did I say them right words? Just another day that the Lord has kept me. Listen, that is the way I see life. That is what the angel of death taught me. To be completely open, to know there is nothing to be afraid of. And of course, I treat the people I love with love, because this may be the last day that I can tell you how much I love you. I don't know if I'm going to see you again, so I don't want to fight with you. What if I had a big fight with you and I told you all those emotional poisons that I have against you and you died tomorrow? Oops. Oh my God. The judge will get me so bad, and I will feel so guilty for everything that I told you. I will even feel guilty for not telling you how much I love you. The love that makes me happy is the love that I can share with you. Why do I need to deny that I love you? It is not important if you love me back. I may die tomorrow, or you may die tomorrow. What makes me happy now is to let you know how much I love you. You can live your life this way by doing so. You can prepare yourself for the initiation of death. What is going to happen in the initiation of death is that the old dream that you have in your mind is going to die forever. Yes, you're going to have memories of the parasite, of the judge, the victim, and what you used to believe, but the parasite will be dead. This is what is going to die in the initiation of death, the parasite. It is not easy to go from initiation of death, because the judge and the victim will fight with everything they have. They don't want to die, and we feel we are the ones who are going to die, and we are afraid of this death. When we live in the dream of the planet, it is as if we are dead. Whoever survives the initiation of the dead receives the most wonderful gift, the resurrection. To receive the resurrection is to arise from the dead, to be alive, and to be ourselves again. The resurrection is to be like a child, to be wild and free, but with a difference. The difference is that we have freedom with wisdom instead of innocence. We are able to break our domestication, become free again, and heal our mind. This is why I believe that the story of Jesus is not just about a man, but it's about us returning back to ourselves, returning back to a space of wisdom and play, being able to go through transformation and come back out excited about life. Man, we're able to break our domestication, become free again, and heal our mind. We surrender to the angel of death, knowing that the parasite will die and we will still be alive with a healthy mind and perfect reason. Then we are free to use our own mind and run our own life. That is what, in the Toltec way, the angel of death teaches us. The angel of death comes to us and says, "You see, everything that exists here is mine. It is not yours. Your house, your spouse, your children, your car, your career, your money, everything is mine, and I can take it away when I want to. But for now, you get to use it." If we surrender to the angel of death, we will be happy forever and ever. Why? Because the angel of death takes the past away in order to make it possible for life to continue. For every moment that is the past, the angel of death keeps taking that part that is dead, and we keep living in the present. The parasite wants us to carry the past with us, and that makes it so heavy to be alive. When we try to live in the past, how can we enjoy the present? When we dream of the future, why must we carry the burden of the past? When are we going to live in the present? That is what the angel of death teaches us to do. Listen, ain't that some good stuff? Living in the present is key. I think we can get through. Okay, let's get through 7. Like, are you living in the present, or are you continue to live in the past? Living in the past. I can honestly say that 2025, I was living in the past. I wasn't living in the present moment. I was living in shame, living in guilt, living in a way that I felt like I couldn't trust myself. And I'm having to learn now. I've been writing in my journal this morning. I release this, right? I forgive myself for the decisions that I made, right? I was writing in my journal today. I'm over being evicted and going through life and this way and thinking about things in a negative way, because that will legit keep you from moving forward. So, chapter 7, Heaven on Earth. I want you to forget everything you have learned in your whole life. This is the beginning of a new understanding, a new dream. The dream you are living is your creation. It is your perception of reality that you can change at any time. You have the power to create hell, and you have the power to create heaven. Why not dream a different dream? Why not use your mind, your imagination, and your emotions to dream heaven? Just use your imagination, and a tremendous thing will happen. Imagine that you have the ability to see the world with different eyes whenever you choose. Each time you open your eyes, you see the world around you in a different way. Close your eyes now and then open them and look outside. What you will see is love coming out of the trees, love coming out of the sky, love coming out of the light. You will perceive love from everything around you. This is the state of bliss. You perceive love directly from everything, including yourself and other humans. Even when humans are sad or angry, behind these feelings you can see that they are also sending love. Using your imagination and your new eyes of perception, I want you to see yourself living a new life, a new dream, a new life where you don't need to justify your existence and you are free to be who you really are. Imagine that you have permission to be happy and to really enjoy your life. Your life is free of conflict with yourself and with others. Imagine living your life without fear of expressing your dreams. You know what you want, what you don't want, and when you want it. You are free to change your life the way you really want to. You are not afraid to ask for what you need, to say yes or no to anything or anyone. Imagine living your life without the fear of being judged by others. You no longer rule your behavior according to what others may think about you. You are no longer responsible for anyone's opinion. You have no need to control anyone, and no one controls you either. Imagine living your life without judging others. You can easily forgive others and let go of any judgments that you have. You don't have the need to be right, and you don't need to make anyone else wrong. You protect yourself and everyone else, and they respect you in return. Imagine living without the fear of loving and not being loved. You're no longer afraid to be rejected, and you don't need to be accepted. You can say I love you with no shame or justification. You can walk in the world with your heart completely open and not be afraid to be hurt. Imagine living your life without being afraid to take a risk and to explore life. You're not afraid to lose anything. You're not afraid to be alive in the world, and you're not afraid to die. Imagine That you love yourself just the way you are. You love your body just the way it is, and you love your emotions just the way they are. You know that you are perfect just the way you are. The reason I ask you to imagine these things is because they are all entirely possible. Oh, thank you, Justin Porter Productions. Sending you nothing but love. The reason I ask you to imagine these things is because they are entirely impossible. You can live in the state of grace, the state of bliss, the dream of heaven. But in order to experience this dream, you must first understand what it is. Only love has the ability to put you in the state of bliss. Being in bliss is like being in love. Being in love is like being in bliss. You are floating in the clouds. You are perceiving love wherever you go. It is entirely possible to live this way all the time. It is possible because others love. It is possible because others have done it, and they are no different from you. They live in bliss because they have changed their agreements and are dreaming a different dream. Once you feel what it means to live in a state of bliss, you will love it. You will know that heaven on earth is truth, that heaven truly exists. Once you know that heaven exists, once you know it is possible to stay there, it's up to you to make the effort to do it. 2,000 years ago, Jesus told us about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of love. But hardly anyone was ready to hear this. They said, "What are you talking about? My heart is empty. I don't feel the love that you are talking about. I don't feel the peace that you have. You don't have to do this. Just imagine his message of love is possible, and you will find that it is yours." The world is very beautiful and very wonderful. Life can be very easy when love is your way of life. You can be loving all the time. This is your choice. You may not have a reason to love, but you can love because to love makes you so happy. Love in action only produces happiness. Love will give you the inner peace. It will change your perception of everything. You can see everything with the eyes of love. You can be aware that there is love all around you. When you live this way, there is no longer a fog in your mind. The Matoti has gone on a permanent vacation. This is what humans have been seeking for centuries. For thousands of years, we have been searching for happiness. Happiness is the lost paradise. Let's say that again. Happiness is the lost paradise. Humans have worked so hard to reach this point, and this part of the evolution of the mind. This is the future of humanity. This way of life is possible, and it's in your hands. Moses called it the promised land. Buddha called it nirvana. Jesus called it heaven. And the Toltecs called it a new dream. Unfortunately, your identity is mixed in the dream of the planet. All of your beliefs and agreements are in the fog. You feel the presence of the parasite and believe it is you. This makes it difficult to let go, to release the parasite and create the space to experience love. You are attached to the judge, attached to the victim. Suffering makes you feel safe because you know it so well. Yeesh. Suffering makes you feel safe because you know it so well. But there's really no reason to suffer. The only reason you suffer is because you choose to suffer. The only reason you suffer is because you choose to suffer. If you look at your life, you will find many excuses to suffer, but a good reason to suffer you will not find. The same is true for happiness. The only reason you are happy is because you choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice, and so is suffering. Maybe we cannot escape from our destiny of the human, but we have a choice to suffer our destiny or to enjoy our destiny, to suffer or to love and be happy, to live in hell or to live in heaven. My choice is to live in heaven. What is yours? So we're going to say this prayer in this book, and we'll be done with this book, fam. So if you're here, just take a breath with me, and we're going to lift this prayer up for the entire consciousness, this entire world, and those that are open to receive. Okay, here we go. Please take a moment to close your eyes, open your heart, and feel all the love that comes from your heart. I want you to join with my words in your mind and in your heart to feel a very strong connection of love. Together, we are going to do a very special prayer to experience a communion with our Creator. Focus your attention on your lungs, as if only your lungs exist. Feel the pressure when your lungs expand to fulfill the bigger need of the human body to breathe. Take a deep breath and feel the air as it fills your lungs. Feel how the air is nothing but love. Notice the connection between the air and the lungs, a connection of love. Expand your lungs with air until your body has the need to expel that air. And then exhale and feel the pleasure again. Because when we fulfill any need of the human body, it gives us pleasure. To breathe gives us much pleasure. Just to breathe is enough for us to always be happy, to enjoy life. Just to be alive is enough. Feel the pleasure to be alive, the pleasure of feeling love. So this is the prayer for today. Today, Creator of the universe, we ask that you come to us and share with us a strong communion of love. We know that your real name is love. That to have a communion with you means to share the same vibration, the same frequency that you are, because you are the only thing that exists in the universe. Today, help us to be like you are, to love life, to be life, to be love. Help us to love the way you love, with no conditions, no expectations, no obligations, without any judgment. Help us to love and accept ourselves without any judgment. Because when we judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty and we need to be punished. Help us to love everything you create unconditionally, especially other human beings, especially those who lived around us, all our relatives and people whom we try so hard to love. Because when we reject them, we reject ourselves. And when we reject ourselves, we reject you. Help us to love others just the way that they are, with no conditions. Help us to accept them the way they are without judgment. Because if we judge them, we find them guilty, we blame them, and we have the need to punish them. Today, clean our hearts of emotional poison that we have. Free our minds from any judgment so that we can live in a complete peace and complete love. Today is a very special day. Today we open our hearts to love again so that we can tell each other, I love you, without any fear and really mean it. Today we offer ourselves to you. Come to us. Use our voices, use our eyes, use our hands, and use our hearts to share ourselves in a communion of love with everyone. Today, Creator, help us to be just like you are. Thank you for everything that we receive this day, especially for the freedom to be who we really are. Amen. We offer this prayer of love. Okay, we're going to share a beautiful dream together. A dream that will love, a dream that you will love to have all the time. In this dream, you are in the middle of a beautiful, warm, sunny day. You hear the birds, the wind, and a little river. You walk toward the river. At the edge of the river is an old man in meditation, and you see that out of his head becomes a beautiful light of different colors. You try not to bother him, but he notices your presence and opens his eyes. He has the kind of eyes that are full of love and a big smile. You ask him how he is able to radiate all that beautiful light. You ask him if he can teach you to do what he is doing. He replies that many, many years ago, he asked the same question of his teacher. The old man begins to tell you his story. My teacher opened his chest and took out his heart, and he took a beautiful flame from his heart. Then he opened my chest, opened my heart, and he put that little flame inside it. He put my heart back in my chest, and as soon as my heart was inside me, I felt intense love. Because the flame he put in my heart was his own love. That flame grew in my heart and became a big, big fire. A fire that doesn't burn, but purifies everything that it touches. And that fire touched each one of the cells of my body. And the cells of my body loved me back. I became one with my body, but my love grew even more. That fire, that, that fire touched every emotion of my mind, and all the emotions transformed into a strong and intense love. And I loved myself completely and unconditionally. But the fire kept burning, and I had the need to share my love. I decided to put a little piece of my love in every tree, and the trees loved me back. I became one with the trees, but my love did not stop. It grew more. I put a piece of love in every flower, in the grass, in the earth, and they loved me back. And we became one. And my love grew more and more to love every animal in the world. They responded to my love, and they loved me back, and we became one. But my love kept growing and growing. I put a piece of my love in every crystal, in every stone in the ground, in the dirt, in the metals, and they loved me back. And I became one with the earth. And then I decided to put my love in the water, in the oceans, in the rivers, in the rain, and in the snow. And they loved me back. And we became one. And still my love grew more and more. I decided to give my love to the air, to the wind. I felt a strong communion with the earth, with the wind, and with the oceans, with nature, and my love grew and grew. I turned my head to the sky, to the sun, to the stars, and put a little piece of my love in every star, in the moon, in the sun, and they loved me back. And I became one with the moon and the sun and the stars, and my love kept growing and growing. And I put a little piece of my love in every human, and I became one with the whole of humanity. Wherever I go, whoever I meet, I see myself in their eyes because I am a part of everything because I love. And then the old man opened his own chest, takes out his heart, and with that beautiful flame inside, he puts that flame in your heart. And now that love is growing inside of you. Now you are one with the wind, with the water, with the stars, with all of nature, with all of humans, with all of animals. You feel the heat and the light illuminated from the flame and in your heart. Out of your head shines a beautiful light of different colors. You are radiant with the glow of love, and you pray. Thank you, Creator. Thank you for the gift of life you have given me. Thank you for giving me everything that I have ever truly needed. Thank you for the opportunity to experience this beautiful body and this wonderful mind. Thank you for the living inside me. Thank you for living inside me with all your love, with your pure and boundless spirit, with your warm and radiant light. Thank you for using my words, for using my eyes, for using my heart to share your love wherever I go. I love you just the way you are. Because I am your creation, I love myself just the way I am. Help me to keep the love and peace in my heart and to make that love a new way of life that I might live in love the rest of my life. Amen. Thank you for the heart, fam. Thank you for the share. So, fam, that is our reading. We read this book in about a month and a half. So good. If you haven't got the book, I'm going to create a link and start putting the books that we read in my bio. So if you want to join us, you can join us in reading on Sundays or come back and watch the replay and let us know, how is it assisting and supporting you on your soul or personal journey. The next book, let me get the other book. The next book that we're going to tap into is Practicing the Presence. Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. And the reason why I picked this book, because I feel like it was confirmation. I was watching Larry Reed, a creator, and he was just talking about like really what he was feeling intuitively, what it was really a time to go and be in silence or be in a place to where you can hear. And so I want to really tap into this book, which talks about meditation and talks about just being in the presence. And church kids, we know it as the presence of God, but really I'm learning in spirituality is just really about being with yourself and being in that stillness so that you can hear God, Christ consciousness, your higher mind speak without any disruption. So if you want to join us, we may start in 2 weeks just to give people time to get their book, but we're going to go through this together, Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. So yes, fam, that's what we're going to be doing and really going through some activities. I probably incorporate some activities to give us throughout the week or just to assist us in getting us into that place where we can be still and really tap in to what Spirit, Source, God, Creator is telling you. So if you haven't done so already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, click on the link in my bio to join the Inner Chamber, a place, a community for spiritual seekers, singers, songwriters, those that are deconstructing and have questions just about faith. Okay, so that's been our time together. I'm going to sing this song to you, and I invite you in just another hour to come back and listen to the Inner Chamber Radio. I'm excited. We put some new music in there today. So you have not been listening to the Inner Chamber Radio. Today is a good day. From 12 to 2, we'll be streaming the Inner Chamber Radio on the YouTube channel. It's really gospel according to the consciousness is what I call it, to really support us church kids like me, spiritual seekers that are looking for music that's expressive and talks about a consciousness, puts us in a place of being positive. And so that's going to be happening from 12 to 2. And yeah, so I'm going to sing this to you and we're going to hop out. Don't forget to click on the link in my bio and check out the Inner Chamber. Song goes a little something like this. Just in case you haven't heard it in a while, and just in case you really need to know, just in case you haven't heard it in a while, just in case you really need to know. Oh, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back. I love you, fam. Talk to you later.